Glad you could join us for our 7:30 news bulletin. Today you're with me, Tandy Wenzumara. Let's take a look at our top stories. Pope Francis proposes truth, justice, solidarity and freedom to counter Third World War. Magra set to roll out a national addressing system as a way of enhancing security in the country. Concerned citizens call on President Tawera and his vice to resign over their failure to address Malawi's challenges. And in international news, Nigeria Election Commission warns violence could halt elections. We do have the details to the stories and more. Do stay with us. Pope Francis told international diplomats on Monday that the global community is engaged in a Third World War marked by heightened fear, conflict and risk of nuclear violence, but a commitment to truth, justice, solidarity and freedom can provide a pathway to peace. Making the remarks as part of his annual address to the diplomatic corps accredited to the Holy See, Pope Francis characterized this speech as a call for peace in a world that is witnessing heightened divisions and war, citing the ongoing war in Ukraine, but also drawing on conflicts in places such as Syria, West Africa, Ethiopia, Israel, Myanmar, and the Korean Peninsula. The Holy Father said this global struggle is being fought piecemeal, but is nonetheless interconnected. We have more details in this Catholic News Agency report read by Bernard Wanza.
Proposing a path toward global peace, the Holy Father drew heavily from Pacem in Terris, Peace on Earth, the papal encyclical promulgated by St. John the 23rd in 1962, saying that the conditions that prompted the good Pope to issue Pacem in Terris 60 years ago bear a striking similarity to the state of the world today. In particular, the Holy Father drew from what Pope John the 23rd described as the four fundamental goods necessary for peace: truth, justice, solidarity and freedom, values that serve as the pillars that regulate relationships between individuals and political communities alike. Speaking of the necessity of religious freedom for peace, the Holy Father noted not only widespread religious persecution against Christian minorities, but also discrimination in countries where Christianity is a majority religion. The Holy Father's address to the diplomatic corps, which includes representatives of the 91 countries and entities with an embassy chancellery accredited to the Holy See, also served as an opportunity to review diplomatic highlights of the past year and expectations for the year to come. The next significant marker on the Pope's diplomatic docket, his trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo at the end of the month as a pilgrim of peace, followed by a joint visit to South Sudan with the Archbishop of Canterbury and the head of the Presbyterian Church of Scotland.
The African Sisters Education Collaborative, ASEC, has called on the public to support its efforts in serving the social and spiritual lives of the citizens. Making the remarks yesterday at the Catholic Institute's parish in Luntha at the opening mass of a training for sisters, where ASEC staff sisters from 9 countries in Africa, including Malawi, are attending, ASEC Executive Director Sister Mary Cecilia Glalu said there is a need for collective efforts amongst all communities in the work of supporting sisters in all their duties that are being executed in various faith ministries across Malawi. Attending the Mass as the guest of honor, Minister of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, Dr. Patricia Kaliati, assured that the participants that government will work hand in hand in supporting the sisters when they are executing different activities in different communities. ASEC operates in 10 countries across the continent of Africa, including Malawi, with the work of providing education for Catholic sisters. As a way of enhancing security in the country, Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority (MAGRA) has disclosed that it will roll out a national addressing system (NAS) next month, whereby all houses and roads in the country will be numbered and have physical addresses for easy identification. MAGRA Director General Daud Suleiman disclosed this during the just-ended 2-day training workshop for police public relations officers from the Central Region, which was held in Lilongwe under the theme Policing in the Digital Era. According to Suleiman, as an authority, they highly value the important duties the PR functionality plays, which is why they saw it fit to hold the workshop where Public Relations Society of Malawi trained them on how to provide effective communication in the digital era. He further said NAS will help Malawi police at large to easily identify culprits of various crimes, as it will be easy to track them down. We have more details in this report filed by Bridget Monoga, but read in our studios by Bernard Manza.
Suleiman underscored the importance of enhancing security in the country, a thing he said would also promote the building of the digital economy. He also clarified that they are implementing the NAS project because they want all areas in the country to have physical addresses where all roads and locations will be identified by a name, while houses found along those roads will be given a number for easy identification.
The addressing systems create the foundation for e-commerce. They create a foundation for a secure society, because now for us to locate a specific house, you just use the physical address. If there is a health emergency in Kawale at a certain point, you just report using the address, the physical address, and the ambulances or health personnel will not take that long to locate you. Without the physical addressing, then we have to use descriptive addresses, which change according to physical infrastructure and attributes. Therefore, the national addressing system is going to be key as we build a digital economy for the country, as well as enhancing security of the nation.
On her part, Inspector General of Police Merin Yoram applauded the initiative, saying it is timely as it will help make the police job easier. She said what his MAGRA is doing by taking a step ahead in finding possible ways to enhance security, and it is recommendable.
As regulators, we think they are taking a step ahead, and it is going to assist the police because we are also stakeholders in what they are doing. And as we already know, information sharing is very critical, and we are going to share information with MAGRA as when it is needed, so that it can enhance on the performance of our PROs.
The project comprises a national postcode system, national addressing standards, address database, physical infrastructure, geographic information system GIS, and public awareness and sensitization. Over 50 police spokespersons from Central, Central West and Central East policing regions have participated in the training.
One of the country's education experts, Benedicto Gondoe, has backed the decision by Maranatha Private Academy to relocate from previous premises, saying it was a measure aimed at raising standards and helping students who are to sit for their examinations soon, despite that the right protocols were not followed. Gondoe made the remarks in an interview with Luntha TV on Tuesday after the school announced that it will not relocate as earlier planned following government's warning. He He went further to fault government's decision to temporarily postpone school opening in Luntha and Lilongwe, saying the best way was to find the right procedure, or better yet, postponing school opening in all districts, noting that the move will negatively affect the students academically. Priska Mashushu has more details.
Last week, the government, through the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and Cholera, suspended opening of schools in Lilongwe and Luntha districts due to cholera outbreak. This brought a mixed reaction among schools in the two districts, who described it as unfair as their fellow schools outside Lilongwe and Luntha are running. As a result, some private schools like Maranafa made a decision to locate their Form 2 and Form 4 students to other districts, but the government denied as the school did not follow the right procedures. Education expert Benedicto Kondowe says government should have made the right decision in the first place rather than delaying studies in the two districts, which made education service providers and parents to panic.
The decision by government should not have been made on a day that the schools were to open. That is the first issue that could have been considered, because we have lived with COVID. Government knew that COVID was causing havoc, and perhaps the decision could have been made with area to allow the proprietors of the schools, parents, and students to prepare around the postponement of reopening in the two areas.
Kondowe further said the right of students to access to education was not considered, despite that there is an outbreak. As such, some students might have also moved from the two districts to other districts for education, hence it was not a right procedure. Schools are expected to open next week on Monday, on the 16th of January 2023, only if the situation will not worsen. For Luntha TV, this is Priska Mashushu.
If you just tuned into Luntha TV, know that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center. But before we proceed, let's take a look at our top stories. Pope Francis proposes truth, justice, solidarity, and freedom to counter Third World War. Magra set to roll out a national addressing system as a way of enhancing security in the country. Concerned citizens call on President Tawera and his vice to resign over their failure to address Malawi's challenges. And in international news, Nigeria Election Commission warns violence could halt elections. Proceeding with the news, a grouping dubbing itself Concerned Citizens, being led by Bon Kalindo, has called on the Tonse administration to pack and go for what he says is failure to address Malawi's challenges. According to Kalindo, Malawi voted for the Tonse administration hoping for a change, but 3 years down the line, living conditions of many Malawians have worsened. Kalindo has also condemned high debts Malawi is still accumulating, which they said have not materialized into any tangible developmental activities on the ground, calling on the donor community and partners to freeze aid and loans for Malawi until a forensic audit is done to account for funds that partners and international institutions have been providing to the Malawi government in form of loans and emergency response aid. Here is part of what Kalindo had to say.
Looking at what is on the ground today, we cannot say Chapera administration is ready to govern this country. So we are asking the president and the vice to step down, because we are the employers. So we are saying we don't want them. Why should they cling to power? Are only trying to protect their money, because their money is meant for, to uplift the lives of the underprivileged. But what is happening now is that when the money is Malawi, is being, stolen. So the corruption issues, the corruption index is very high, and we cannot be happy, to see this continue, that politicians are benefiting from, a lot from the donor money.
The United Democratic Front, UDF, has condemned a grouping calling itself Friends of Atubeli Muluzi Movement for using the party's structures and emblems to advance personal agendas. The development comes as the grouping has been holding press conferences calling on former UDF President Atubeli Muluzi to contest in the 2025 presidential elections. A statement released on Monday, signed by Secretary General Kandi Badambo and Acting National Publicity Secretary Yusuf Mawa, accuses the grouping of creating a perception of parallel structures in the rank and file of the United Democratic Front Party, which is currently being led by Lilian Patel, who took over from Muluzi last year. We have more details in this report by Phyllis Chizombe and read in our studios by Preska Mashushu.
The statement says Friends of Atubeli grouping has been holding press conferences calling on former UDF President Atubeli Muluzi to contest in the 2025 presidential elections, which has angered the party for using the party's structures and emblem and the use of the name Muluzi. Badambo said the grouping is creating the impression that it is being supported by Atubeli Muluzi, which the party believes cannot be true. Badambo further accused the grouping of creating a perception of parallel structures in the rank and file of the United Democratic Front Party, which is currently being led by Lilian Patel, who took over from Muluzi last year. He has since warned that using names of party members and structures to advance personal agendas which are obstructive to the effectiveness of the party is a breach to the party's constitution. Meanwhile, Badambo has urged all party leaders and members to always respect the UDF constitution and structures to avoid disciplinary actions, which include expulsion from the party. Atubeli Muluzi led the party during 2019 polls and as a running mate to Peter Mutharika in the 2022 court-sanctioned presidential elections, announced his resignation as the party's leader amidst last year.
A Brazilian national identified as Jelena Seliman Fajar has been in charge for the Malawi embassy in Dubai for the last 10 years with a Malawian passport. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bernard Sunday, revealed this on Monday in a meeting with the Public Accounts Committee PAC of Parliament in Lilongwe. Sunday admitted that the Dubai embassy for Malawi is being steered by a foreign national since 2013. We have more details in this report filed by Herbert Kadanda.
The foreign national, known by the name Jelena Seliman, is a Brazilian by birth, but she is married to a man from Dubai. Investigations by some members of the committee reveal that the woman has been holding the post since 2013 and is one of the Emirates. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bernard Sunday, said the ministry is looking into the issue as the one holding the Dubai embassy is pro bono, doing the work without pay.
We are looking at the issue and see how best it can be handled. But I must emphasize that, yes, technically or ordinarily, she's a, but technically she's a Malawian. But we're looking at the issue and see how best we can handle it. She's a member of the service that she provides. She was issued with a passport, a Malawi passport.
Lilongwe City Southeast legislator Ole Msongama brought the question of Dubai office to the PS, saying the office is having serious problems and most Malawians are struggling to get help. On his part, chairperson for the committee, Mark Botomani, said it's a serious anomaly for the Dubai embassy to be steered by a foreign national.
To me and to us as a committee, this is a serious anomaly, and actually we are surprised that the person has been representing this country since 2013, as you heard. But all these years, we could not note this as an anomaly. I mean, we have sent people on missions to various countries and various embassies and high commissions. Why not considering to have a Malawian representing Malawi at that particular mission? It's very surprising, actually.
This is despite Parliament's judgment, which once ruled against the move, and claimant that there are many capable Malawians who can serve in the role. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I'm Helbert Katanda.
Now, in international news, Nigeria's election chief has warned that the country's general election next month risks being cancelled or postponed because of rising insecurity. According to Mahmoud Yakubu, if not dealt with, insecurity could hinder declaration of election results and precipitate a constitutional crisis. Local media say 15 states are likely to experience violence before, during and after the elections. Meanwhile, fixing insecurity is one of the key issues in the presidential campaign. 5 states in the southeast, where a separatist group is agitating for a breakaway country, and 4 states in the northwestern region, where armed gangs known as bandits are active, are among those listed as areas of concern. The northeast region is also of concern, as that is where the militant Islamist group Boko Haram and an IS-linked affiliate continue to carry out deadly attacks with devastating consequences. Despite problems surrounding other elections, the vote has never been cancelled since democracy was restored in 1999. And for this year, more than 90 million Nigerians have registered to vote in the 25th February election. And that also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis proposes truth, justice, solidarity, and freedom to counter Third World War. Magra set to roll out a national addressing system as a way of enhancing security in the country. Concerned citizens call on President Tawera and his vice to resign over their failure to address Malawi's challenges. And in international news, Nigeria Election Commission warns violence could halt elections. You have been with me, Tandy Zumara. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and do continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye for now, and stay safe.